Alright. Yeah.
For this a long time.
Let's go.
Here goes buddy, money, there. Joe's Paranormal. Money, there. Joey Paranormal. Joey
Good evening. This is Buddy Money Thea, Buddy the legit ghost guy, if you will. This would normally be, it's a legit metaphysical world. You would be joined by our amazingly talented, beautiful, stunning, witty, charming favorite aunt, Dale Beluccio, and she would be walking you further into a legit metaphysical world with tonight's guest, who would probably be somebody that's like somebody in the field, whether it be a metaphysical drummer or a I don't know, like a Reiki master or a medium even, and they'd be giving you either an interview, or they'd be giving you oh shit, oh boy, my beer of the week is exploding, or they'd be giving you some sort of they'd be giving you an interview this week. Next week is live reading week. My beer is exploding. I'll get into that in a second. So tonight, instead of you see my aunt's beautifully talented, amazing face and her beautifully talented guests, this is another, oh, that's my taxes. This is another edition, which I used to wipe a beer mess. Another edition of, oh my God, it's a legit paranormal open bar, and I am your host, your bartender, if you will, Buddy Money Thea. Oh my God, my beer has stopped. I stopped malting all over the place. I have a tremendous beer this evening. I'm going to sip and watch an episode this evening. I'm going to play you a legit paranormal rerun. And while I do that, I'm going to sip this beautifully crafted sour ale from Long Live Beer Works. It's called Frozy Cup Valentine's. It is a generously fruited mango, strawberry, and apricot sour ale. It doesn't look like a beer. Mike would laugh at me. It's not Whalers, it's Long Live. But that's what I'll be drinking this evening. You can find them at that and so many other great IPAs and stouts and porters at their brewery in Providence, Rhode Island. And that's what I'm going to enjoy this evening. So run out and grab some lovely IPAs, or just enjoy the atmosphere and the food truck and the whole beer, the craft beer scene. This is not about beer. This is about metaphysical. So I dove into the legit paranormal archives, and I found one of the more metaphysical shows that we ever did. If you're saying metaphysical, you're thinking about like mediums and stuff like that. So I went and found a medium interview that we did on Legit Paranormal with Brandie Wells. She's a medium out of Massachusetts area, I believe. No, actually New Hampshire, rather. And she hosts her own podcast out of New Hampshire, and she does a bevy of like tours. You can go with her to various places and investigate and like learn from her mediumshipness, I guess you could say. So without further ado, I'm gonna present my screen here. We're gonna do a little share screen. There we go. Let's see if Buddy can do this. Change the tab. I'm gonna go to that one. Okay, share. Oh, Mike would be so proud. Here we go. Okay. So this is Legit Paranormal Podcast before we had any intros or anything like that. So enjoy.
Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me. It's Mike Lepre, King Mike L with Legit Paranormal from LegitFantasySports.com. LegitFantasySports.com deals with the paranormal. Now, when it comes to sports, I think Genius Kev. Genius Kev, welcome tonight. How are we?
How's it going, King? Good. Sunday night's my favorite show of the week. We wind down. We talk about some stuff we don't normally cover. So I'm very excited as usual.
But it's 5:30 night. It's more like evening, right? Because on a Sunday, like when you had to get ready for school on a Monday, like what, 6:30, 7 o'clock, you'd start winding down. You'd have to take like a shower, like around like 7:38, right?
Yeah, that's when the dread starts to set in. Probably 6:37. Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of the dread, Kev. Buddy there, what's going on tonight, bud?
I'm very excited to be back. It was a nice family weekend last weekend, but I'm like, I got nothing to look forward to on Sunday. I can't have a reason to drink good beer, so I just drank good beer anyway, and I felt pointless. I need the paranormal podcast in my life on Sunday, so I'm glad to be back.
Buddy, unfortunately, someone else with nothing to look forward to tonight.
What the fuck is this shit?
Get 2.9% APR for up to 48 months on a new 2023 Soul.
It took 2 years of pushing the limits to make TSR.
I don't know where these ads are coming from, but they're appearing on the screen, and I'm going to do my best to alleviate this ad. Oh, skip ads. Here we go.
Longer.
Huh.
Straighter. The all-new Titleist TSR drivers.
What the fuck?
Brandie Wells. Brandie, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are we tonight? No,
awesome.
you good. All right. So I got 1,000,001 questions, Kev. I'm gonna start off by going first because I want to ask these. So you wrote. So I watched your video. I was reading everything I could read, but the one thing that stuck out was when you made a comment about having a hard time separating your life and this life. So
Yes.
so that's what I want to know more about than really anything, because I've heard a little bit of the prior stuff. Tell me what it's like dealing with what you have.
So I am a clairvoyant, and I essentially see people as a field of energy and a human experience. And I really feel that everyone is connected in this way, but the more you practice, the better you become at something. And your intuition really is a muscle. And the more I have opened myself to the spirit realm, the more time I spend up there. And it's really hard to be down here. So I'm a channeler. I go into self-hypnosis in order to connect to higher self. So I'm connecting to spirit guides, past loved ones, guardian angels, past life. I step into Akasha, which is past life. Ooh, you haven't heard of that word. I saw that face.
I've not heard of that word.
Your Akashic record is actually a layer in your aura. So you've got your chakra energy system, and then you have your aura, and your aura actually has 7 layers as well. But the outermost layer is called the Akashic record, and it's what I call the history book of your soul's journey. And when you start stepping into the Akasha, you're actually stepping into past life experiences. So,
Kev,
Yeah.
I follow that, and I was, first of all, I'm surprised I followed that, because that was on the intelligent level, right, Kev? And on a Sunday at this time, it's kind of tough to keep up, but wow. So it's not easy. This is not an easy thing for you.
well, I love what I do, but I have had a really difficult time lately separating my personal from my business, because it is my passion. I mean, I love what I do. And I think, when you love what you do, it's not work, right? So yeah.
If you don't shut it down for a while, right? Like if we're talking sports here, you get a picture, it's a great picture. If you don't shut him down every now and then, he's going to throw his arm out. That's just inevitable. So you keep going, doing what you're doing. You'll get whatever it is, you're going to throw it out. You're going to throw out your angelic healing. You don't want to do that, I don't think. So maybe shut it down.
Well, I have to say I have some rituals for myself because at night I used to be inundated by spirit. Like as soon as I go to sleep, I was having visitations all night long. And it was for the loved ones of people who are booking with me. I serve about 4,500 clients a year. And spirit knows I'm just this wide open channel. I'm sure you guys have heard of the term like a ghost magnet.
Yeah.
Someone who naturally draws spirit. That's me. So I'm constantly being inundated by the spirit realm. So I am in control. I am very protected, and I've really learned over time how to open and close my energy field so that I'm not losing my frickin' mind. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a lot once you're open and a true channeler. So
how do you shut it off? How do you shut it off?
So I actually have an opening and a closing ritual. And many people, when they hear it, they know. I do it when I go into paranormal investigating. I do this anytime I open to groups of people, individuals. But essentially, in order to connect to the spirit realm, you have to be grounded as a field of energy. You guys have heard of, grounding, right? Earthing. Well, as a field of energy, your root chakra needs to be anchored to Mother Earth in order to truly connect to the realms. So I actually do a little meditation where I invoke spirit to come into my energy field in order to channel. And I will do that with the people I sit with as well. I will ground their energy, call in a clearing, and then open up to the spirit realm. So I know you're overwhelmed, aren't you?
I'm okay with this.
You're good. All right.
So Brandie, when what you were talking about, kind of being almost overwhelmed with the amount of spirits or energy that's being channeled through you, I guess that would kind of lead me to believe that there's a lot more, for lack of a better term, demand on the spirit side to find more people that can do this, right? If everyone could do it, it would probably be a little, the load would probably be spread a little thinner. So I guess why you? And then is there something other people can do? I'm not like that. Like, I'll be very honest. I've never been clairvoyant. I've never had those kind of feelings. I realized as a child you're more intuitive, and I know that kind of stuff. But like, let's say I wanted to start going down that path. But I guess first, why you? And then how does someone else kind of go down that journey?
Great question. Sorry.
Yeah. So first I'll tell you that I had a alien experience when I was 8 years old. You can actually look it up online. It wasn't just me. It was many different people that experienced this. And if you go online, it's called the Zeller experience, Zeller experience. And in my town in 1984, there was a UFO sighting, and several people in my town experienced this. But it was right outside my back window, and I yelled to my mother because I had a big bay window and I could see it off in the back of a field. And I yelled to my mom, and the moment I yelled, it went from, I don't know, I was a little kid in distance, I would say it went from about 500 feet to about 10 feet in front of me. It heard my voice when I yelled, and it came right up to my bay window. It was about 9 feet wide. And I just was shocked when I saw it. And all of a sudden it hummed, and the hum moved through the vibration, moved through my entire body. My mom ended up seeing the tail end of it. Like, it just whipped off. I mean, this was all within like bam, bam, bam seconds. Right. And she saw the tail end of it. The next day in the newspaper, it was all being, blown up everywhere that this officer was called to the scene, and there was an unidentified flying object over the highway, suspended in the air, and the officer did not know what to do about it. And yeah, so long story short, that night I closed my eyes and I could leave my body and come back.
Wow.
I was
projection is out. Yeah.
And I also had extremely heightened awareness of other people to the point of feeling their emotions, almost like an extreme empath. Empaths absorb other people's energy.
Right.
Yep.
And I knew what kids were hurting, what kids were abused. I could hear people talking all around them. I honestly thought I was losing my mind. And this continued all the way up through my teen years. And instead of feeling lost in it, I did everything I could to help people. And so I feel as if I was the vibration that moved through me. I mean, I was 14, I worked in a nursing home. And then all of a sudden I was working with disabled, the homeless population. I mean, if somebody needed healing, I was trying to find a way in my community to expand myself.
Sure.
But it wasn't until about 8 years ago that I actually stepped into formally calling myself a clairvoyant. I didn't know what to do with it. And I honestly struggled my whole teen years with hearing voices and not knowing what it meant, feeling things to the extreme.
So, Brandie, I write different things. It's just what I do. One of the scripts that I was actually working on was someone who could hear when kids were being abused. So, and what it would do to his psychological, like how he would be and how much rougher and meaner he would be somebody from doing it. Like it would wear him down to the point where he was almost as bad as the, you know what I mean, as the person doing it. So I see it as a grinding thing, but you take it and make it a good thing. Like you ride the wave as opposed to, I guess, feeling.
Yeah, like how can you? Why do we get called to help people? We're just channeling the divine and higher source, higher consciousness. That's all we do. We're all just puppets to the realms. Honestly, we think we're so brilliant. You're just channeling spirit all day long, all of us. So, and as far as Kevin, you were asking like, how does someone expand this? And you were saying you were right. You write. Writing is actually channeling, right? I do teach people how to ground, clear, open their energy to the spirit realm, but channeling is actually a form of moving into higher consciousness. So that's why so many people strive to meditate and have a still mind. When the mind is still, it is open. And that is where real, true, higher consciousness, which is the place of all knowing, enters in. So it's really about creating a clear space in your mind in order to channel or open yourself.
That's why I love my dogs, because my dogs could be worrying about something 1 second, and then they just turn and lay down as if they don't remember anything. And they and I always think if my brain could just get to that point with the dog turns and he goes, I don't know why I'm here. I'm laying down. And then there's a calmness. You're like, wow, that's what I want. Right? No, that's what I want. But yeah, I hear it.
Well, animals actually vibrate higher than us. That's why. Did you know that?
I would believe it, but no, I did not know.
We are, as humans, supreme beings, but we are not. The animal realm and nature vibrates higher than us. And that is why animals have a knowing. And I mean, really think about, do they worry? Do they stress? No, humans do, because they are a lower, thicker vibration. They don't trust. They have to learn and navigate the world, where animals just trust. They know, they have a knowing because they're connected to higher source. So.
Is that why you hear stories like if there's like impending earthquake or something, like animals will leave the area?
Oh yeah.
First? Yeah. This is.
Or that the story that you hear that the guy who dies and he has a dog and the dog goes and like lays in the cemetery where the guy is buried every day. You know, like I'm sure you've read the story on Facebook and you see it a million times. Like the dog like responds to certain things like that. Like
they know. Yeah.
I'm a dog owner, and I had an old English bulldog that passed away just about a year ago. And at the time, it was the other one was a pit bull. She was a 2 at the time. Now I have a different dog. Anyways, the thing is, like, dude, when you're in pain, they know it. Like my dogs would come and lay right next to me when I was in pain only. Like after I had the surgery on my stomach, they wouldn't stop like hanging around that side of me because they knew something was wrong on a level that no one else really knew what was wrong. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so that I believe that. I would, Kev, don't I always say dogs are better than people? Like, it's one of my biggest things. Like, I prefer dogs to people any day of the week, actually. Sounds rotten, but true. All right, buddy, what is your beer of the week? I know you.
Oh, yeah, my beer of the week. I've been sipping on it the whole show.
You know.
So yesterday, I was able to take a magical journey with a good friend of mine, a friend of yours, Mike, a guy that you know, who we all love, Bill Sutherland. We went to a magical place called Treehouse Brewery. I don't know if you can see that. That's my beer of the King Julius. That's one of their flagships is Julius, so they made a King Julius, which is an enhanced version. And basically, it tastes like orange juice and with a little bit of alcohol in it. But it just tastes like it doesn't taste like a screwdriver. It tastes like an orange juicy beer. It's the best way for me. So I'm immersed in juiciness and haziness and hoppiness here in Smithfield, Rhode Island.
I got a dude. Look.
Yeah, I'm really loving your background.
What's the name of the company again? What's the name of the company?
Treehouse.
What's the name of the company again? Treehouse. All right.
Treehouse.
You should apologize to Treehouse for saying orangey, whatever. You made it sound like Tang.
No, it's
no one wants to drink Tang. Cold Tang.
Orange juice in the morning, Mike. It's like, oh my God, this is so delicious. I want to pay $124 for a case of beer, and that's what I did yesterday. But anyway, back to Brandie.
I'm not much of a beer drinker.
Brandie, did you ever drink a screwdriver though?
You know, I really am not a drinker. I don't need to drink. I'm in my own world already. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Lightweight. I am telling you. Here's a funny story. I decided let's go out for my birthday and I'll get a drink. I get a martini. I had 3 sips of the martini and I couldn't even walk from the bar to the table. I'm not kidding you. I am a cheap date.
Wow. That's not good. I like a good hard cider once in a while, but I am not a drinker. I seriously don't need it. I'm already up there. Don't we drink to let go? You know, I don't really need to. I'm good. I'm good in life. You already let go. Yeah. Buddy, all right there?
Buddy's doing good.
So, all right, Brandie, what I would ask you if well, I am meeting you, so I'm meeting you now. What are your most profound type moments that made you go, oh yeah, that's why I do this, or you know what I mean? Those aha pop moments. Because I have a lot of mine, but they're always weird. So I'd rather hear yours. You know what I mean?
Here's a cool one. I mentioned I serve about 4,500 clients a year.
Yeah.
So I'm basically doing about 5 to 10 readings a day. And then I also serve groups. So in a one-on-one session, I am focusing on just one person. And so I tend to get a lot of very validating information as I'm channeling. Well, last week I had an appointment with a gentleman who is a judge and he just retired. And first I'm picking up on the law. I kept saying there's something about the law, something. And he's like, yeah, I just retired. I was a judge for 20 something years. And I was like, okay. And then I started channeling and I picked up on 2 women around him. He had, and they both had a fast passing. And I was trying to separate them. I said, but I can't. I said, I'm getting an MA, like 2 MA names. But I don't know if I'm getting, and I'm channeling, I'm writing. So I channel through automatic writing. That's my divination. And I allow spirit to work through me, communicating through writing. And so I basically give my hand up to spirit. And then I interpret what I receive after. Well, he lost both his mom, Martha, and his wife, Marie. And they both were coming through. And I mean, then we were getting into what she did for work and it was endless. So for me, at the end of the session, he leans forward and he pulled his mask down. He goes, pardon me, and pardon my language, but that was effing amazing. And I was like, wow, a judge just told me I was effing amazing. So that was like, for me, that just, and it was so healing for him. It's been about 5 years since he's really dug into his grief and dealt with it and tried to move through it. And it just really helped. I mean, the messages that his loved ones brought through was just so heartfelt. So moments like that remind me of why I'm doing what I do. And that it feels really good for me too. It's exhausting, but it feels good, you know, to bring messages like that. It kind of set him free, you know. He had a lot of feelings of guilt. So
wait, hey, this is there it goes. When people come and or book a meeting with you, visit with you, I don't know what we call it. I'm sorry, I don't know the dialogue. Do you ever detect like a mental illness type angle to this, and you start to go, all right, I know I got to deal with this in a certain way to avoid any sort of like. I would worry. I'm being honest. Like I see, maybe because I'm just so negative, but I would worry about somebody not being completely all right in doing, like, you know what I mean? You got to worry about it in anything, any kind of field. I guess you got to worry about.
I'm so into that. I grew up with a grandmother who was manic, who had manic depression, and I helped take care of her my whole life. So that's the other reason I am hypersensitive to people's well-being. So I mean, and I'm talking manic. Okay, not a mild case of being bipolar.
I'm very familiar with that population. I work with those every day.
So I'm so attuned to mental health. And I do have a few clients who have struggled with that. I'm actually really proud to say I helped one of them move through her mental illness. I am not a counselor. I am not a doctor. But I did help her move through the emotions linked to where the trauma came from that triggered her manic. Because I had a woman who would go into manic phases of her bipolar. Her father had actually committed suicide when she was 12, and she found him. And she was on a really hard journey in her 30s, came to me, and I essentially got her through on the other side within a year. And I never encourage anyone to go off medication I'm not a doctor, okay? But the emotional trauma from that and being able to channel her father and bring messages of healing and closure, it really cleared her energy and her mind. It helped her really get in a good place. And she then found love for the first time. She just got married. She has a full-time job, and she is now a high-functioning human being. And that to me, once again, is like, you know, so yes, I do run into people who have issues with mental health, addiction. Addiction's a big one. People have, you know, not just addiction to drugs or alcohol, but even like addictive things in their life, you know, but addiction is really linked to emotion and trying to satisfy a need. So if you heal the emotion or the trauma attached to it, you're able to really clear that as well. So it's really like energy clearing to open yourself to the highest potential. And that's what healers do.
I get I'm sorry. I want to change gears a little bit here. I know you this is really positive. This sounds great.
But wait, buddy, wait.
Yeah.
So is that why like sometimes I won't allow myself to be happy, or I won't allow myself to have a good time? Am I blocking myself? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's the thing I have. Like, sometimes I'll be in some place and I'll be like, you know, I should have a good time. Like, why am I not enjoying myself? I'm looking at the negative side of it. I'm worried about like.
Yeah, that's all subconscious mind stuff.
All right.
That gets into hypnotism. That's a whole other subject I could talk to you about.
Yeah.
If you want to talk psychology, we can bring Dale back on.
No. No, but I had a question. That's a question I had. That's a blockage. Go ahead. Go.
So I want to change gears a little bit. I love the positivity. I love it. I work in mental health every day. So I love hearing positive stories about that. But I'm a paranormal investigator. I want to hear the good stuff. So other than doing helping people and doing readings and connecting people with lost loved ones, I know you have 555 Paranormal that you do, because I was involved with you with that.
Yes.
At the SK Victoria Mansion, which is a phenomenal location. So you go to all these pretty awful haunted places. where some pretty awful things potentially could have happened.
Yes.
Do you ever encounter? I'm sure you have, like, negative.
Yes.
How do you perceive that? How do you handle that? How do you work with negative entities? And then part two, people who were like, say, like really nasty, awful people in life are nasty, awful people as a
Yes,
spirit.
they
How do
are.
you deal with them? How do you work with them? What's the difference?
You
Please.
called them
Right.
asshole ghosts last time, buddy. You called them asshole ghosts.
Asshole ghosts, if you
That's
will.
what
Yes,
they call them.
and there
Let's stick
are.
with it.
Who were
Let's stick
assholes
with it.
when they were alive, they're assholes still.
Yes, this is
All right,
true.
let's stick with it. You called it.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah, I've been let's see, scratched. I've had my hair pulled. I had my ass pinched even. When I was at the SK Pierce, that happened to me, and it happened to someone else too. And you know, I've been taunted by spirit, yes. But I once again am grounded, clear, open to receive these things. So of course it's going to happen, right? But I think what's important is you're acknowledging spirit was once human. These people were once humans, just like you and I. Okay. So I will say I do not interact with anything demonic. I never have. I never will. It is not part of my work. I will not allow it.
Do you know when they're around? Can you see them?
I've sensed it, but I will not even acknowledge it.
Does it make you ill? Does it?
Yes.
It's a biological thing as well as an emotional.
I had at the SK Pierce one night where I was on my way, and all of a sudden I realized I started not feeling well, and I literally had to pull over and get sick because there was something like attacking me on my way to the SK Pierce, and that was the night that I canceled it. And I found out that 3 other people were having the same experience. They were having dizziness. They were having, one had, she was having like this issue behind her eyes, and it was the same kind of feeling. It was like a headache, like in my head that was coming like pressure behind my eyes. So, you know, I have had experiences with negative energy, but I always see that as spirits agitated. They want to be heard. They want to be known. They have something unresolved. So I do, you know, when you're in a location like that, you know, it's investigated constantly. I mean, I call that a paranormal playground because people are just constantly interacting with spirit there. They expect it. They get used to it. They, you know, I mean, it's different.
On both sides, the spirit world and our world, we expect it, they expect it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, so it's just an open, it's basically like an open portal to the spirit realm. So it's different than when you go to a private case that actually needs resolve.
Right.
You know, we're not going to resolve anything at the SK Pierce. They don't want to.
Right. No.
But it's what I believe is the perfect place for schooling on your own abilities and working with equipment. And, you know, I mean, it's entertaining. It's such a fun social thing too.
Yeah, I was touched there. I felt it felt like a finger on the top of my head. We were in the room next to the nursery. I captured it was a music box. It's 4 notes. Yeah. And we all heard. Some of us heard it with our ears. It's like, whoa, what's that? And you could hear it on the. There was nobody else on the entire floor. It absolutely blows my mind. Places like that are like super active all the time.
Right, but they don't want. I mean, even the owners, they don't want closure. So I do struggle in one way with that. So I'm always just teaching people to be respectful, honor that these were people just like you and I. And if I pick up on that agitated energy, I want to know why. Like, why is someone angry or frustrated or, you know?
Like, don't treat them like pets.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't treat them like a pet. I know you want to keep it around, like Kev, which makes no sense to me. Like, you want to keep it around, you can get rid of it, get rid of it, right? And secondly, you just reinforce, I think, what scares us to death in the fact that sometimes spirits, negative spirits, can get attached to you.
Yes.
And follow you home. That's the most terrifying thing I can think of. Yeah, that's awful.
I have something really funny about that. I went
All right,
to.
good. I hope it's funny, but not scary.
No, it's funny to me, not to my husband. I went to an event. It's actually a museum art museum in Concord, New Hampshire. And we had a whole group. And so Buddy was talking about the 555. What the 555 is 5 groups in 5 hot spots in a location. We all separate out, and then people get to rotate through the hot spots in a location, whatever, a castle, or an inn.
And I get what you did with the number. That's good job, right, Kev?
And we investigate for 5 hours. That's the goal.
555, right, Kev?
Yep.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's a number of change.
It's a good idea. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
So all the groups were picking up on this man named Roger. Roger had a top hat. He was smoking a cigarette. Someone saw him as a horse tender. He was speaking through the spirit box. This man was showing up with all the groups. So I do at the end of the night a big clearing, and I ask all spirit we've interacted with to please stay in this location. Your guides go with you. We cut the ties. Life goes on. I get home about 2:30 in the morning, and I go to bed. And my husband all of a sudden nudges me like really hard. He's like, "There is a man standing over you." I'm like, "Okay. Can you describe it? Because I don't see it." Like I was shut off. Like I'm exhausted, not interested.
I know that feeling.
He's got a top hat. That's what he tells me. And I'm like, "Well, that's your issue." And I rolled back over and went to sleep. My husband was like, "What the hell was that? I don't know why I saw that." It was kind of funny, but to me, I thought it was. But
he stays with you. And he stays with you, even though he sees a top hat.
I ended up doing a sage, a cleansing in the morning. But it was just really funny because my husband is open to my work. I've been married almost 24 years. But he doesn't want to go on an investigation.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what is like dinner table conversation like?
I have 4 children that are all open.
Okay.
And my husband is too, and that's why he won't investigate.
Mm-hmm.
He would kill me for saying this publicly.
Yeah.
He's got the science mind, he's highly intelligent. He's an engineer, but he's totally open to my work.
Yeah.
A little too open.
So Brandie, I want to go back to something you said a little while ago that was really interesting. I hadn't heard it put this way before. You said basically there's some spirits that they don't want to go. They don't want things resolved. And it seems like once you said, you start putting all these pieces together, like the Conjuring House, the S.K. Pierce House, like I forgot the East Greenwich Armory, like all these places that we hear about that are hotspots. So it's really, so if you happen to buy, a place like that and you don't know about it, is there anything you can do? Like, let's say Mike happens to buy a new house and he was duped into not knowing that the place is a hotspot and he's terrified of it because he would be. What are his options? Is it just run? Does he have any?
So I live in an 1840 farmhouse.
Yeah.
And when we first moved in, there was a woman here and my whole family saw her. I felt her. And it turns out that we would only see her when they were doing homework. She was the school teacher in town for 30 years and lived in this house and died in this house. So we basically honored her, did a cleansing, and my entire family asked that she does not make herself known anymore. And we have not experienced her since. Spirit, you can't remove spirit from a place. That's their own, just like we have free will, they have free will, but you can be at peace with spirit in your space. You also can, and I've done this, where when I investigate a private location, you can anchor the spirit to the land instead of the home. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's ritual, and so I've done ritual to move spirit from the home and anchor them to a beautiful tree outside, and you give them offerings at the tree, or, like it's really about removing it from your home so that you're not having those scary interactions. Some people just freak, they don't want to know, right? But they were human just like you and I. And when they're anchored to a home, it's because they loved it. It's not because they're, People always see paranormal as negative, and it's not. Like someday
Amen. I see
you will
this
be
all the
paranormal,
time.
right? You'll be beyond like the human, normal. So it's really important to just honor that, it's energy, just like you and I.
Yeah.
No, I just don't want to see it. Like that's my thing. I always,
Exactly.
like, I'll be honest. No, I'm being honest. Like I always say stuff like, you can be here, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I believe in you. I just don't want to see you. So if you can make sure that I don't happen to see you, feel free, my man or my woman or whoever, go crazy. I don't want to see you. Is that too much to ask, Kev?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. So, Brandie, I want to kind of take that and extend it a little bit. So I know you've done work with like past lives regression. And I know you talk about your view of a human as like almost like a body carrying energy, carrying a soul. If a spirit wants to be anchored to a place, are they then like sort of depriving themselves of coming around again for another life, or is there like how does that? You know what I mean? Do you have a theory on that?
I do, because channeling for so long, spirit has I weird echo. You're hearing my own voice. What's going on there? All right. So
today, I consider myself the luckiest.
it's really weird hearing that.
Yes, no, I don't hear an echo.
Okay, it was really loud for a second. It was freaking me out. All right,
that was weird. I didn't touch anything. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, essentially, the spirit, the human spirit, is a field of energy that can split and divide, but it can never dissipate.
Okay.
I believe that.
What happens is, in this human form, you leave an imprint on the realm, but the imprint only remains as long as those who are living can honor it, because you are connected. We are all connected by what's called the ethereal cord. It's a cord of energy between you and everyone you meet. So now all of us have an ethereal cord. It's just a thread of energy because we're exchanging energy. When you're exchanging energy with a place, there is a cord of energy to the place. It's not just between humans. It's between all, like it's all energy. It's like a big web of energy. So what happens is when you cross over, your soul leaves, it's almost like sitting on a cushion on a chair and you see the imprint of the cushion. That is what your soul does. It leaves an imprint on a realm for that experience, but your soul can then split and divide and move on to a new life.
Okay, interesting.
But it leaves an imprint. So that's why sometimes people will say, well, I don't understand how I can speak to my loved one in heaven, but I swear to God, my nephew, I swear that's my grandfather reincarnated, but how is he in heaven still? And it's like, because that connection will never die, but his energy can split and divide. You are the result of the 10,000 people before you. You are not just this one, like Kevin, this one soul that is this one being. Like you're the result of of your DNA, your soul journey. Like I want you to think about all that coming together to create this one being.
So energy in motion stays in motion. That's pretty much what we are, right? So we're gonna have to stay in motion somehow. That's what I've always said. When we pass away, we can't technically completely pass away because where will the energy go? That's right. Always been my question, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
So where does it go after I pass away? Where does it go? Where are we saying that it goes next? Like I want to get back.
Heaven is not far away. Heaven is actually a realm right outside the human experience. So people always say like going away in heaven, and it's like, no, actually your loved one becomes part of your energy field, and that's why you think of them and they show up for you. They are like the whisper in the ear of everything you are successful in, because they are part of you now. They're part of your energy field.
That's the other thing. All right, here's the other thing. So then I picture the fact that, all right, I pass away and I'm just energy. Then I thought to myself, am I going to still know my kids? And I'm like, you know what? If I don't still know my kids, I don't really want the rest. Like, I don't want to be energy anymore. For real. Like, if you gave me the choice, like, I'd be like, I don't really care. I would rather know my kids. So what are we saying? Like that our energies won't know each other? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, they do. They like your energy will never dissipate. It will never stop being connected. Once you make an energy exchange with someone, you can't take it back.
Okay.
So the more you interact, the more energy you exchange, the stronger the connection. So that's why when people cross, they essentially are taking a piece of us with them. And that's why grief hurts so damn much. It's actually damages our own ego because they're taking part of us with them. And we have to redefine, who am I without you? Right. So grief,
That's
like
true.
that alone, whole other level of like thinking about this, but it's because we are like, we're extending our energy into the ethers every time someone passes that we know. So, you know, that's a whole other level of discussion there. But you essentially become part of your children's, and if I died tomorrow, I certainly would be doing my work on the other side to protect, to help, to, we want humans to have the best life they can while they're here, right? I mean, when you're in heaven, you've got no heaven, just a realm. There is no connection to ego because you are free from the human experience. The human experience is the thickest vibration.
Wait. So, all right. The ego is completely negative. Is that what that is what
No.
the saying is, or the thought is? No. All right. It's a good thing, right? At some point.
Now, an ego is that's a whole other topic.
It's good to some point, though, right?
What's that?
It's good to some point, right?
Ego keeps us in reality check. I'm going to keep it that simple.
I agree with that. I think that sometimes when I get dressed, Kev, if we're going out, I'll look at myself and go, yeah, well. I just hit that age where it's just, all right. Yeah, well,
works. So Brandie, kind of extending a little bit, because I definitely want to talk about your sort of experience with angels, and I don't want this whole conversation to go by, without that. So I guess how, like the picture you're painting is really, really interesting, and I haven't heard it phrased the way you've phrased it before, and I'm kind of trying to put it all together in my head, which is awesome. So where do angels fit in?
So deities are the highest vibration up with God energy, but the angels are here to help us. And I always tell people, if you could learn to get to know the archangels, they really want to help the humans. So if, for instance, everyone knows Archangel Michael because he is the ultimate archangel as far as protecting, cutting away our fears. He works with all of the healers to help them become better healers. He really is the ultimate protector. But there are many, many different archangels. And getting to know them for me was like getting to know a friend, because once I understand what their role is and what their strengths are, it's fascinating how you can call or invoke them to someone and teach someone how to call them in and work with them. But they, the archangels, the reason I like working with the archangels is because they are not tied to any denomination at all. Okay. Like they may have stemmed from a certain religion, but they do not work directly in specific religions. They are not bound to any religion. So I see them as, yep, go ahead.
How many are there? Because I'm starting to picture like a boy band in the sense of how many of them there are.
14. But there are way more than that. That's all I've gotten to know and work with so far. So, for example, if you were having a legal issue, okay, and you really needed assistance with the truth coming forward, and for like the moral and the justice, you would ask Archangel Raguel to assist. You would ask Raguel to, you're like, oh, we got to put Raguel to work for you, do we?
I think that would help, Brandie. I think that would help Mike immensely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
if you were working on
Regular
calling
things,
love
briefcase.
into your life, or fixing a damaged relationship, or you were struggling with your expression of love for your children because you were really angry at them, or so the angel of love is Shamwell. This is the angel that we call in to make connections through the heart chakra. So it's endless. I mean, I could get into more of it, but I believe that the archangels in particular, are just an amazing, I don't want to say tool because
Like a treasure.
Sound very nice, but they
More of a
really
treasure.
want to help us, you know?
Yeah.
So getting to know them, I just think it's a really neat thing, you know, for anyone. Because it took me, I would say, probably about 5 years to work with the 12 to 14 that I work with consistently. They come in for different things for different people.
So, all right. So it almost sounds, listen, so there's up to 14 different archangels that you can call upon
yes.
For different things. Like,
Yeah.
you know, work around the house. Maybe there's one for that. Call him up. Basically, I'm kidding. Okay, you go down, but you literally know 14 different names for 14 different topics. Is there any wear and tear on you physically? Does this affect you at all? You're dealing with archangels. You're talking to 14 different ones. Does it not hurt you at all?
That's what keeps me going, is working with that energy. They're constantly inspiring me to help people. So I always, you know, when you were asking earlier, you know, what would you suggest if someone wanted to open up or do what you do? And what I always tell people is, if you start in the highest vibration, whether that be your God energy, you know, I don't care if you work with Buddha, you know, God energy, you know, like your higher source, if you start there, you will always be working in the highest good. So that's why I always tell people, learn about the angels first, and they will open or become segue to things that are much deeper and heavier to deal with. You know, you don't want to just, I deal with some heavy stuff. Okay. Most recently, I had a visitation from a young man in spirit who had drowned. And the next day, the family reached out to me, and I had already had the vision that he came to me. The family asked to book an appointment, and since he already came to me, I refused to take money for it. I ended up working on the case, and it was a body recovery. This gentleman was only in his 20s, and he showed me where he was on this river bend, but the water was so high that they couldn't recover his body. It was not safe for them to go in and recover him. So I asked my 4 pillars, the 4 archangels that I work with, to please expedite this process. And I was told that he would be recovered around March 14th. And the family reached, and I showed them exactly where he was on this this area of this river. It's called the Willimantic in Connecticut, the Willimantic River. And he was actually found on the 13th. And exactly where he showed me he was. But I know that the angels were helping me do that for this family. I'm just a conduit, you know. I just open myself to receive that. So the angels, they want to help us.
So you're saying that the angels connected his spirit to you,
Yes.
and
Yes.
show him where the body was. Okay.
Yes.
No, what I want to know is how do the people, his family and whatnot, treat you after this goes down? It's the 13th. He gets found, and they turn and look at you, and they're like, "What?" Because I would be like, "Oh my God!" You know what I mean? Even more so than everything else.
What's interesting is someone came in my store. The woman came up from Connecticut to talk to me and told me that what happened, and I started crying because he came to me. I saw the whole thing in my mind, in my dream time. I didn't know who it was for until they tried booking an appointment, because everything
But were
just
they
comes.
scared of you afterwards, or like not scared of you, but like nervous around
You
you?
know what? I have to tell you, sometimes I get information and I'm like, what the F am I supposed to do with that one? Like, okay. I mean,
Yeah, that must be rough.
I do cold cases.
I was going to
don't
ask
announce
that.
it. I don't
Wow.
announce it because I have a family. Okay. Some of these cold cases, these people walk among us. All right. I mean, it's not just missing persons. Sometimes it's murder, homicide, unresolved thing. I mean, and I could channel those things, see all of it, get all the information. That doesn't mean it's going to be solved. So I have to be open to what spirit calls me to do. But some of that stuff is heavy, is what I'm saying. I have to work in the angelic realm in order to get that. It's heavy.
Do all spirits stick around if they get murdered? That doesn't seem right to me.
No.
You should be able to get murdered and not stick around.
No.
All right.
The soul has
Wouldn't
free
that
will.
stink? I'd be like, maybe you have to stick around.
Why do they stay here? That's the question. A
Well,
lot of people
sometimes spirit doesn't know that they are dead.
right.
They don't know their physical body is not here.
That would suck.
Yep.
Like you said earlier that like people it's not just like a violent crime. It's not just somebody that like died. It's just like somebody could be like I tell people all the time. It could be just somebody like living in a house for like 50 years, get married, raise children, retire, work and whatnot, and die, and they just go back to the place that they loved. It's not necessarily doesn't have to be about like something violent or something awful or something like horrible. It's just like a lot of these residential cases. You work, it's either somebody who it seems like it's either somebody who lived there once or somebody who's related to the people who live there now, who's just kind of there to check up on them.
Yeah.
You see that a lot, or is
I
it?
do. I mean, it's hard because spirit, even if spirit has crossed over, they still can come and visit and be at these places. Maybe they just love being there. So it doesn't mean that they're earthbound.
Okay,
right?
so what's the difference between an earthbound and a crossover spirit?
They vibrate differently.
How so?
Okay? So I was telling you about the human spirit is the thickest vibration. So they're connected to ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is ego? Ego gives us our intention, right? It's the why in life. Like your ego tells you the why. All right. Yep. When you're in spirit, in the light, time doesn't matter. It's all just high vibrating energy that moves freely. There is it just is always moving. So when someone has not crossed, they are in that thick vibration. And so they can work with ego still. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's when you get entities and negative experiences and all of those things that ego would trigger.
Like a spirit would put like their emotion onto somebody. Like you find yourself suddenly crying. Would that be an earthbound spirit? Yeah.
So once you cross into the ethereal, into heaven, and there are several, seventh heaven. Mm-hmm. It is a thing. It takes several levels to get there. You have to go through several different things in order to cross. But once you cross, you can be and go anywhere. So a lot of times spirit, they just like to be in a place, but it's no harm done. That's why
Why have I never heard of that? I thought Seventh Heaven was just that bad TV show. Well, Michael Landon, the guy from Little House on the Prairie. I mean, what do you mean by Seventh Heaven? Stop, because you're going forward with it. Everyone's going out. I'm like this, and I'm going. What do you mean? I got to do what 7 levels of like what? Like Battle of the Network Stars type stuff? What do I got to do? 7 levels.
So
Cube is one of them.
There's forgiveness and release, and as your soul is transcending, you are actually going through life review. I actually met a woman last week from yes, you have to review all that shit. So I just met a woman down in Louisiana the other day, and she was a freaking riot. I have to say, it was one of the most fun readings I've had because she came on, she's like, honey, I got to tell you something. And she starts telling me this thing. She's like, I want you to tell me what happened to me in 1978. I was like, okay. So I start channeling. I'm like, well, this is different. You know, people usually come in there like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? This one was like coming at me. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, you were unconscious. I'm in your mind and she's like, mm-hmm. And what else? And she said, I died. I left my body. I want you to tell me where I went and who that man was that was with me. I was like, okay, I can see him. I see someone trying to greet you. So essentially, she was on the operating table. They started to lose her, and she saw the freaking light. And she was telling me how she said she was going through a tunnel, and everything, it was like literally like flashes of light, like she was going through years, and she was seeing flashes of her life, all her memories, all of her. And she said, but there was a man next to her, and she wanted me to tell her who this man was. And it was her spirit guide at the time. He kept telling me he was her spirit guide. He's not her guide anymore because she doesn't need him. It was a different guides come and go. So anyhow, so you are going through life review. And as you do that, if there are things that you have unresolved, you figure out, can they be resolved in this lifetime, or do I get to pick up that in my next lifetime? Because you sign up for certain things. Yes. Yep.
I'm out.
It's like a freaking board game, man.
I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to play it, though.
You want the puzzle at the end or not? You know?
Out of it all now.
I won't do it.
You're off it out. This is
I'm not going to do it.
You're going to have to do it over if you don't. That's the bottom line. So.
So
okay, Brandie, in the time that we have left, you're a medium, you're a clairvoyant. Can you give us any reading?
I'm also a hypnotist.
Can you give us
I'm a
any?
hypnotist as well.
Yeah,
that's
and like healer, hypnotist.
Yeah.
Can you give us any like readings? Can you give us any?
Ooh, damn! You gotta have me. How much time do we have, though? I don't know if I can pull that shit off. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
What? How much time do we have?
About 5
10,
minutes.
15. We have
15, and whatever.
How about this? I'll have you each ask one question. I'll see if I can channel it really quick. Okay. Just hold for a second because
Kevin and Mike, you guys go first because I got to think about it.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm just calling in a sacred space. I am grounded, clear. I am open. I ask the 4 pillars to be present as I open my heart to your heart. And so it is. Okay. All right, Kevin.
All right, so I guess I'll ask this one. So it was one sentence of background. My father and I had a misunderstanding that was unresolved when he passed away, and I've tried to kind of clear it up on my own, sort of by speaking to him. Even though he's already passed, obviously, and I would love to know if the misunderstanding has been cleared up on his side.
Okay, hold 1 second. There's also a male with a D around you as well. Okay. All right. So the first thing was that I felt that this misunderstanding involved something with, I must want to say a material object, but it doesn't make sense to me. So hold for a second. I feel it involves something like, I don't want to say, I'm caught between a material object like a property, but I feel like there was also a vehicle involved as well, that somebody else, that I feel like there was something with his vehicle as well that, but I don't feel that this is after he passed. Okay.
Yep.
And also, can you validate that he had a sister? There's like a woman that I'm seeing that.
Yeah, he had several, a couple of sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm seeing. He just said he was disappointed in one of his sisters as well.
That's interesting. Okay. It was more on the property side than the vehicle side.
That's okay. I was getting one object, one property, but I just have to say, like, there's something where he's not he just corrected me. He's not disappointed in her. He's disappointed, and this has nothing to do with anything that you're talking about. It's someone who also the one that had a separation, and there's a the male that she was with, he's disappointed in him with how things went for her.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
And I just heard him say, you made it right, but some things were out of your control. And you also, I'm pulling cards as I'm trying to connect. And I just want you to know, mediumship is very sacred to me. So I'm trying to open up. I went from like totally shifting gears to trying to go up there. But you got this card, and it's called Called. And this card is about your, this is funny. This card is about really hard lessons and walking through the door to the other side of the lesson. And it's about being called to your, like, the training that you had to go through to learn this lesson. He just said, I am proud of you. There's something about 2 years as well with the work that you're doing. And I also heard you're going to be stepping up. And I also just heard that you're not always going to be under someone's thumb. So I feel as if you're about to break free and do something very independent. And he's encouraging you to do this.
Yeah.
Or what, do you work for him or something? I'm just kidding.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so
that last part is very, very, very relevant. Very, 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 very relevant.
Yeah,
I don't want to pick all the time.
He's helping you with this, okay? So just know that he's helping you.
Thank you very much.
Mike,
Awesome.
you go next. I got to get another beer.
It can be anything. It can be life purpose stuff. It doesn't have to
Tell
be.
you what, no, I got to think. Ask my dad or my papa or anybody, go and get Ragwell, right? Get together with them, see what he's got to say, and just tell him to help me out on this side of things and get me through to the other side of this, let's call it argument situation that I have.
Yeah, you do have one. I feel it. Is there something, if you don't mind sharing, going on with house and home too, and you're questioning things with home? Yep. I also was picking up on a move.
No, I would love to move.
You're going to be moving, my dear.
That's been my thought as of late.
It's a good thing. What's that?
That's been my thought has been I want to move lately. That's just how it's been.
Yep. Now I feel that. When you were speaking, I also saw a female coming through on your left side, but this is a female connected to your mother's energy. And I'm pausing for a minute. You got this card, which I love. The answers you need are coming. All right. It's all going to work out. The month of June and the month of August, there are pivotal things that happen for you. But there is a move. I can't let it go. It's a good thing. It's your own free will. It's not forced. It's like, it is not until the spring of next year.
I don't mind. I don't mind. That's like in the strongest female on my mom's side would have been my Nana. She was
it's a a grandmother, a great aunt. It was an older woman, and she honestly, I'm gonna be upfront. She seems more maternal. Like, I feel like she understood you, and I don't mean to say more than your mother, but like, you had a relationship that was different. And she acknowledges this. So you're talking about males in spirit, but this woman is the one who's coming through with this right now. This card came up for you as I was connecting as well. It's called the Breath of Cosmos. But what this is about is it's saying stop micromanaging the universe. You've got to let go and stop trying to control every element of this and kind of like surrender to it, because it all works out. You know, like we want to control everything. And this card's saying, stop trying to control everything. And what's neat is right after you got the I Remember card, and this is about your soul plan. It's like what I want to say that once you surrender, you see something, but then you also got the Earth School, which is very similar to what Kevin got. And this card is about, once again, life lessons, soul growth, study, and like really, I want to say, see this with hawk medicine. The hawk can see the whole field, or they can see the one little mouse. Stop focusing on the little mouse. It's time to see the big field. So you've got 2 pivotal months coming up, and then I feel like Spirit just said, then you're free. So I don't know what's going on with that, but there's something about being set free from something. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right, buddy, what's up?
My question. So I live in a new space, sort of a new space, and not really a new space. It's a new space for me, I guess. And in the last few months I've lived here, I've seen many shadows. I know there's spirits here. There's no doubt in my mind there's spirits here. Who's here with me?
Yeah, I don't really like some of the energy, I have to say, buddy. I feel sad. There's like kind of a suppressed feeling. It's not a bad energy. I'm not saying that, but there's a instant feeling of like sadness. So hold for a moment. I'm getting message that this is not spirit in the space. It's spirit with you.
Okay. You kind of picked up along the way?
Yeah. It's someone that someone that you knew. This is, and I just heard the word, like, I feel unresolved within my own. So I don't know if this is someone that died too young or died. My heart is stirred. I feel sad. I feel like you need to just cleanse the space to call in the higher vibrations of receiving this energy differently, because you're seeing it as a shadow, but it's because I feel sadness around this. Like you have some unresolved around this person. So I don't know if they died. I know it's someone who died too young. It's not an older person.
Okay.
It's someone who died too young, and you have unresolved around this. So I don't know if it's someone that passed when you were younger.
No, my wife passed away a few years ago. So I mean, I have that. That's always in my mind. But she's not. It's not. There's nothing sad about Heather. She just like emanated happiness.
It's not
happiness in my life, right? But then again, I remember like 4 days after I moved in here, I was sitting on the couch like 2 feet to my left, and I kept seeing shadows. And then I look up and I thought I saw my father. And this is a house that my grandparents built. So my grandfather, who kind of looked like my father, he died 74 years old, but he wasn't like, it wasn't sad. I mean, it was sad.
No.
Died, but
I'm still, this is this energy. I know when you just said your wife, that is who is with you, honey.
Oh, I totally believe it.
Okay. But I mean, you're channeling something totally different. Mm-hmm. I'm focused on the energy that you have around you on your left shoulder. Mm-hmm. There is a woman, but for the sadness I feel around her is you're unresolved. And I just want to clarify that. She's not sad. Okay.
No.
But I feel
it's still grieving. It's still grieving that it'll be 2 years in May. So I mean, it's not even 2 years yet.
Yeah. I'm sorry for your loss, buddy.
I appreciate that.
But I do feel the unresolved within you, and I know that she's around you trying to lift that up.
Right.
What I would do if I were you is I would be doing a daily cleansing in the space to move that thick, like, sadness. Okay. You could even put some salt lamps in your space. They absorb like negative or sad energy. Mm-hmm. You could also spray rose water. Rose water raises the vibration in a space. What I'm picking up on is you're actually very open. Mm-hmm. You're an empath.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that I
And,
say empath, but yeah, I definitely have feelings. Yeah.
and you're seeing this because you're just open.
Mm-hmm. I've
If
had
anything,
emotions that I can't
enjoy
explain.
it.
I've had that. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull a few cards from her because she. Okay. The first card that came up, it's called Cosmic Ancestor, and
Mhm.
it is a card for loved ones. Like, this wasn't your first time coming around with her.
Right.
This card tells me that it's called Star Keeper, and it's called the Seed of Light by staying grounded. When you are grounded, you will connect to her. To me, it says, like, when you're anchored, she's able to show up. You know, I was saying that to you earlier. So remain grounded and she will keep appearing for you. But what I was also getting is that she's trying to help you when you're feeling this way. And that's why I'm feeling sad. And then these were the other two cards that came up for you. They're from her. And I'm just going to read them to you real quick. One is called The New Earth, and it says, hold the vision, good things are coming. And this is from her. Okay, so stay positive. And then you got Double Mission. This card's really interesting because it's about serving the world by being you.
Mm-hmm.
She's encouraging you to just keep this is the card of being a light worker yourself. Like, you're here to help and heal others. But when I hear double mission, it's like playing different roles in your life, wearing many hats. I feel like she's trying to tell you she recognizes and acknowledges what you're doing, but something wonderful is about to happen. So keep your visions high. Keep your
yeah, I'm about to apply to nursing school. So yeah, nursing school. I work in mental health.
Oh my gosh!
Investigating pro bono. I do helping people is like my thing, I guess, because I'm not like,
I love that.
I don't get up in the morning and feel like, oh, I'm gonna go out and help somebody.
But we don't know each other that well, so I didn't know all that about you. But she's definitely trying to take that sadness away. I think she's trying to lift it from you.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you're seeing her around you.
Cheers, Heather. Thank you.
You know what? That's mind blowing because I feel like a sexist jerk. Like, I always thought my grandfather was with me because I have a weird vibe in this house. Whenever I do something stupid and almost kill myself, I'm barely saved. And I get this feeling like someone's been saving me. And my Nana was the one who actually passed away right in this house. But all these years, I thought it was my grandfather. And now I'm sitting there going, it could have been my Nana this whole time.
Oh, it could be.
I'm such a sexist jerk. I went with the male. Like, is that my problem? I'm like,
I wouldn't worry about
it now. I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like,
you need to remember, though, that we can connect tomorrow and a whole new energy would come in because it's energy. So it's just in the moment what I picked up on. You got to remember that. I have clients who come to me like once a month and I don't remember anything because I'm channeling. And every time they come to me, it's a whole new experience. So it doesn't mean that only your grandma's with you. It's just she showed up first. She took the
amazing thing. It's an amazing thing you have. I mean, I'll be honest. If I'm being 100% honest, I wouldn't want it. It seems like a lot of work. It's like a lot of work.
It is.
No, it does. Yeah, you got a lot of work, a lot of understanding, a lot of things that I don't possess. Like, you know what I mean?
And you know what else it is? You know what the hardest thing is? Judgment. I'm constantly being judged on.
I believe that.
But I accept it, and I have learned to. People will take from me what they need, and I no longer feed that. I think that's been my hardest challenge because I'm a highly sensitive person, and people are constantly judging: is she real? Is she not? Is it?
No.
You know?
I don't judge those things, but I'm a very skeptical person when I read stuff. And I'll tell you the one word that Buddy used to describe you, one thing that you are, that you do, that whenever I hear that one word, I go, because I guess it's like that Italian in me that doesn't want to get like swindled is hypnotist.
Yes.
Like when I hear everything else, I'm like, okay. Then I hear hypnotist and I go, all right, wait a minute. Because that part of me goes, what, are you going to hypnotize me and then make me do this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. Like,
I'm not a comedy hypnosis person at all. I will never be one.
All right.
Hypnotism to help people.
Yeah.
So because that would be awful, Kev.
So, okay, we're way over time, and I'm just being conscious of Brandie. So maybe you want to. I know you have your soulemporium.net. I know you have your brandiewells.com.
Yes.
I know you're setting up a school. Do you want to maybe talk about that for a couple of minutes? Then
my hope is the fall.
You got a plug.
Yeah, my hope is in the fall that I will have the American Center of Spirituality completed. It is actually the first career school that is approved by the New Hampshire Board of Education in metaphysics. So
nice
work, but I'm excited, and I'm not the only teacher. It's actually a multi-teacher platform, so I'm excited about it. So it's American Center of Spirituality.com.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely plug that.
Thank
you.
All right. You guys got anything you want to add? Not that we really want to hear from you, but you what? You got anything you want to add, Kev, buddy?
No, I just want to thank Brandie for the time. This was a great conversation. I love it. Thanks for answering all the questions and just kind of educating us. Like that's one of the things that we found doing this. Buddy's always able to get good people, different perspectives, and this was a great conversation. So I just want to thank you.
Very excited to have the medium presence. Very excited to have that certain perspective. That's exactly what I was going for. Thank you so much for coming out and like arguing about all very challenging stuff. I am excited for this week. This week was a great show. Next week we're welcoming Eric Perry, who's also from New Hampshire. We're going to New Hampshire back to back, and he's a paranormal investigator. He does stuff with the Travel Channel and someone else. He's a paranormal investigator. It should be a good show. So please tune in.
All right. Brandie, did you want to add this one?
Oh yeah, I was just going to tell you really quick. In the fall, be on the lookout because I'm going to be on 2 episodes of A Haunting.
Oh wow!
Oh, great show! I love it.
And I'm really excited. I love their reenactments. I can't wait to see who my stunt double is going to be. But it'll be fun.
Yeah, because that's a weird thing. I've always wondered about that. Because do you want that person to be better looking than you?
I know that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, okay, let's see what they're gonna do. It'll be fun.
Oh, there it is. Bang. Okay. All right. Well, we thank you. You were an incredible guest.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it a lot. So for the genius Kev, for Brandie Wells, for Buddy Thayer, it's me. It's Mike Lepre, Legit Paranormal from LegitFantasySports.com. Kev, we've reached episode, or I'd say the 96th hour now. So by the end of the week, we should hit 100. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you, Brandie Wells. Have a good night.
Well, that was another great rerun. Oh boy, hold on. I gotta get rid of this. All right, so I'm sorry. It was another great rerun. Again, tune in live tomorrow night. We'll be back with the news. Not myself, but you can see King Mike a little bit older than he was in this past video, which is about 1.5 years old. He joins Streamy David Barr, which I'm feeling sleepy myself right about now. And what's her name? Oh God, Jean. I'm sorry, Jean Jet Fuel Broida. I'm not feeling the jet fuel right now. As I present Legit Paranormal News. Join us back again. That's 8:05 tomorrow night. 8:05 Thursday night. We'll have Legit Paranormal clips. As a local or a U.S. or a U.K. investigator will come on and present their clips from their investigations, from what they believe might be paranormal claims, paranormal evidence, if you will, data. Friday night we are at 8:05. Friday night live at 9:05. We're joined by Bigfoot Daniel Benoit, and he will bring on the Bigfoot Zone from Fort Defiance, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Mountains, beautiful country down in Virginia, and they go and they find Bigfoot. Saturday there is nothing. Sunday we are back with live Legit Paranormal at 7:05. We'll be joined by Bridgewater Triangle's own, now Florida's own, Chris Balzano, author, documentarian, paranormal investigator, yada, yada, yada. Monday, I don't know what we're doing yet. Tuesday, you can find us back here at Be a Legit Metaphysical World. Auntie Dale will grab me by the hand and we'll walk side by each down into the metaphysical rabbit hole that there is. And I believe it's a live reading, so join us for a live reading with Auntie Dale or Dale Blue Show, however you might know her. For Brandie Wells a year and a half ago, thank you. For the King Michael, wherever the hell he might be tonight. For Kev the Genius, God knows whatever happened to him. It's me, Buddy Thea, and this has been another fantastic episode of Legit Paranormal Open Bar. I bid you farewell. Have a good evening.